Your clearance means nothing here. I run this street. Linda jabs her HOA badge. Tom takes a slow sip of coffee. Not today. Tires screech as a military SUV skids to a halt. Ma'am, the lead MP states, you're blocking a federal route. Linda sputters. This is civilian property. Tom flicks the stolen traffic cone with his boot. Shouldn't have moved my cone. On a warm Monday morning, tensions in Willow Grove, a quiet gated community nestled between a regional airfield and an overgrown military depot, finally erupted. The neighborhood, governed by an HOA with bylaws thicker than a city phone book, was ruled with iron precision by Linda Voss. Her identity lived and breathed in her title, HOA president. With a sharp auburn bob, pastel blazers, and a clipboard she wielded like a royal scepter, Linda didn't just enforce the rules. She was the rules. Most residents complied, some out of fear, others from fatigue. But that morning she turned her sights toward a part of the neighborhood that had eluded her control. A dusty auxiliary gate of the adjacent military depot, situated across from the house of Tom Reed. Tom, a recently retired logistics commander, was a quiet but perceptive man. He had spent 25 years coordinating global cargo movement, encrypted operations, and high-security supply chains. 6 months ago, he moved to Willow Grove, hoping for peace, not politics. He kept his yard clean but plain, attended no HOA socials, and had declined Linda's email request to enhance the aesthetics of his solitary flagpole. His house shared a border with the base's auxiliary gate, a gate rarely used, reserved for high security or emergency military convoys. That Monday, Linda made it her mission to investigate the area. What she didn't know was that a sensitive military shipment was scheduled for that morning. Tom knew. The base knew. Linda, armed with her bullhorn and a false sense of authority, absolutely did not. It began with an unscheduled compliance walk. Linda strode down the sidewalk, her clipboard slapping rhythmically against her blazer. 2 HOA board members, Mindy and Greg, followed sheepishly. Linda halted abruptly at the curb nearest Tom's property, squinting at the red stenciled paint labeled, "Do not block. Federal." "This curb paint is unauthorized," she declared, voice amplified by the morning quiet. "If the Army wants to park here, they can file for a permit like everyone else." Tom stood at his kitchen window, coffee in hand. He sighed as he watched her scribble furiously. Less than an hour later, Linda returned, now in her SUV, muttering to herself about low-standard mailboxes and non-compliant landscaping. That's when she saw it, an orange traffic cone and a strip of freshly painted curb in bright yellow near the gate. Without hesitation, she kicked the cone into a hedge, reversed into the restricted zone, and parked, her wheels straddling the words, "Secure route only." The base security camera silently swiveled to capture her license plate. A secure notification pinged Tom's encrypted tablet. He exhaled slowly, shut his book, and walked outside. Linda slammed her car door with theatrical flair and clicked her key fob twice for emphasis. She strutted down the sidewalk like she owned it. "Problem solved," she muttered. 10 minutes later, a matte black SUV with Department of Defense plates sped into the cul-de-sac, flanked by 2 military police Humvees. The convoy blocked the street as 2 armed MPs emerged in full gear. Radios crackled. Residents peeked from their windows. Kids ran out, phones recording. Tom stepped onto his lawn, coffee in one hand, his old military clearance badge around his neck. He nodded to the younger MP and murmured something quiet. The soldier glanced at his tablet, then at Linda's SUV. Meanwhile, Linda had returned to her porch and stood filming with her phone, zooming in on the guards. "This is harassment," she shouted. "I'm the HOA president. You have no jurisdiction here." The taller MP was unshaken. "Ma'am, your vehicle is obstructing a federal logistics corridor. This zone is protected, Linda scoffed. You need my permission to do anything here. I oversee all curb compliance. Tom leaned casually against his wooden fence. He was watching her unravel in real time. Linda turned toward him, eyes flashing. This is your fault. You've been undermining me since you moved in. He simply took a sip from his coffee and said nothing. You think just because you have some faded badge that you run the place? I run this neighborhood, she screamed. The second MP spoke into his shoulder radio. Moments later, another SUV rolled in. This one quieter, darker. A man in tactical gear and sunglasses stepped out. His demeanor was calm but unyielding. He walked straight up to Linda, handed her a sealed folder and said, "This is for you." Linda opened it and read the first page. Her hand trembled as she flipped to the second. "This is a joke," she muttered. "You're saying I interfered with a classified delivery?" "No, ma'am," the man replied. "You obstructed one." Her SUV let out a beep, remotely locked, geotagged, and flagged for secure towing. She let out a guttural shriek. Tom, still by the fence, couldn't help himself. "Should have left the cone alone," he said, just loud enough for her to hear. What Linda didn't realize was that her SUV had activated a digital chain reaction. Her tires had crossed a priority NATO-aligned transport corridor, triggering emergency lockdown protocols. As she frantically paced and shouted about conspiracies, 3 agencies were combing through her DMV record, social media footprint, and neighborhood security history. Back inside, Tom forwarded footage from his security cameras to the base commander, documenting every second of Linda's approach, parking, and screaming. That evening, Linda stood in her driveway, wearing an American flag scarf and oversized sunglasses, bullhorn in hand. "No tanks on our streets," she bellowed. A few neighbors clapped sarcastically. One teen held up a sign that read, "Free Liberty Lane." The next day, a certified county letter was delivered. She was being investigated for obstructing a federal path. In retaliation, Linda started a door-to-door campaign. Her petition labeled Tom a government informant and deep state operative. Tom answered his door, glanced at the clipboard, and simply said, "That street's not HOA. You interfered with a military operation." Linda hissed, "Oh, so now you're the Pentagon's puppet." Later that week, someone vandalized the depot wall with spray-painted words, "Traitor." Security footage revealed a short, hooded figure in sneakers and a trench coat, oddly similar to Linda's silhouette. When the sheriff visited her house, Linda erupted. "This is a setup. That man, Tom, has been after me since day one." The sheriff calmly requested her doorbell footage. Linda's county hearing became the hottest ticket in the subdivision. The room was packed with neighbors and reporters. She arrived in a red pantsuit with a binder labeled HOA Sovereignty. Her defense spiraled from loosely connected HOA bylaws to obscure quotes from conspiracy blogs. Tom, armed with satellite maps, signed easement records, and letters from the Department of Defense, methodically dismantled every claim. The board ruled against Linda. She received an official reprimand, and a formal vote was scheduled to remove her from office. That night, the HOA board held a closed session. When they emerged, Linda was no longer president. The next morning, her SUV was returned with a laminated federal infraction notice zip-tied to the side mirror. Neighbors had already printed novelty T-shirts. "Don't park in Liberty Lane," with a cartoon of Linda yelling at a tank. Her lawn soon grew wild. Her blinds stayed drawn. She launched a blog, HOA Freedom Watch, but was quickly drowned in memes and parodies. A viral remix titled "Commander Linda Blocks the Base" trended for days. 2 months later, she quietly moved out. A final certified letter arrived, a $400 fine and official notification that she had been flagged on a DoD watch list. The blue-painted house she left behind was repainted beige. Tom sat on his porch one morning, sipping tea, admiring a newly installed gate plaque that read, "Dedicated in honor of civilian misunderstanding." He smiled, the sunlight warming his shoulder. Should have left the cone alone. If this story moved, you don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful true stories. Your support allows us to keep delivering valuable insights and stories that inform and inspire people everywhere. Thank you for watching Work Story, and see you in the next one.